Good evening from Yami B TV. Wishing you all well, of course. So the breaking news in the last couple of hours or so, once again coming in from the Category A high security prison, namely HM Wakefield, where we've reported on quite a number of attacks from that prison, and we won't be shedding too many tears about this later one. And it involves a man named Mick Philpot. Who has been attacked, right? But before we go into that, a little bit of background to all this. He got convicted of manslaughter around 2012 and got a 15-year minimum life term for manslaughter. He had two co-defendants, one of them his Mrs. Myrid, and another geezer called Mosley, but both of those parties are not now out because simply they didn't get life sentences, right? But the background on Philpot is he appeared on Jeremy Kyle, right? The TV program. Many of you will be aware of that. But also he appeared on the benefits scandal of having loads of kids and seemed to be gloating over the fact that he could claim so much money on behalf of the amount of children that he had, not just the 5, 6 or 7 that he had with Myrid, but a previous relationship as well. I think her name was Willis or Kellis or something like that, but that broke down and he ended up with Myrid. But in the benefits documentary, with confronted by a lady that I met along my lifetime, Anne Widdicombe, who I like very, very much. Told him to his face that he was a blatant coward and just living off the state, that kind of thing. And he became quite aggressive with her. So the signs were already there with the type of personality that we are talking about here today. Now, obviously, the limelight, being on TV, thinking he's something he's not, they hatched a plan to set fire to their own house. With the ingredients of wanting a new house and blaming his ex-partner, the one with the other children, of setting fire to it. And his part in this was that it is believed that he would be a hero of some kind and be able to save the 6 children, his children, I believe, and get them out safely out of that house. An absolute botched up plan for a man who obviously lacks really thinking skills. That the plot went wrong and all 6 of his kids, they died, right? So not the greatest thinking man, of course, that you could think of such a plan without looking at all the consequences. Now, we get into that debate about him only being found guilty on manslaughter. Look, realistically, the courts accepted that he didn't really intend to murder the children. It was for the reasons that I have just suggested. But my days, what a loophole in the manslaughter law, so to speak, that you could come up with a plan, basically, of, not wanting to look like a hero by saving the children, by wanting to burn down the house, for reasons to blame someone else and to get a new house out of it and then get custody of the other children that his previous partner had. What an absolute shambles of a man, right? Basically, another inmate has crept up behind him and smashed his head in with a metal object, namely probably a flask. But he didn't need outside hospital. He's ended up being badly shaken, badly bruised, and is feeling sorry for himself. But not many people going to feel too sorry for him. But this is the first attack that he's had, basically in 13 years, if we calculate it from 2012, that he is up for parole in 2027. With the other 2 obviously being released already. The parole board will look at it probably that he didn't mean to murder the children, but can't see him getting out on the first hearing. But it beggars belief that, not that we promote violence on Yami B TV, that this is the first real attack on him of this kind. You think with manslaughter of 6 children or murder of 6 children, whichever way you want to look at it, it's probably one of the most horrendous crimes out there with so little minimum term of imprisonment. 15 years. That calculates that basically 15 years is 2 years near enough, 2.25 bit years for each manslaughter of those children that, would a parole board really believe that a man who, what has he done in there? The enhanced thinking skills to get his thinking a little bit better. That kind of stuff, to see that his risk will be able to be managed in the community, that he wouldn't be able to say, man, again, that, he's going to have to live with the error of his thinking, and that it's his fault that those 6 lovely little children who never, ever got a chance to live into children and adolescents and get a life that they deserved, and losing their life at the hands of a man that was so full of himself after going on TV programs that he thought that he could get away with anything. But no, it's coming in, but it's not real serious damage. But we are just letting you know that he is up for parole, and we say on Yami B TV, and quite rightly so, that many of you will say that justice continues to be served on this matter, and no matter whether the minimum term is 15 years before he gets eligible for parole in 2027, we expect a large number of years on top of this before he proves conclusively that he won't have those same kind of thinking skills ever again. So I'll be up later probably to go live, but wishing you all well, of course.